Hi, thanks for joining us. This is the second um, YouTube video that we're doing in conjunction with the one that we just did. Um, so I am going to give you a story or two, but print thing I want to talk about real quick is that principle. Why, I see on TV and they're teaching the hard job. Believe the word. You got to believe the word, and and I get that, and then I think I'm sitting there always going, if their bowels were clean, their bowels of mercy, bowels of mercies. If they're clean, they're empty, then they can take in the new word. Honestly, there's so many times I want to stand up and go, and I don't know. I mean, I send people my videos and my books in the Christian community. I don't know what they're wanting. I don't know. No, nobody else is sending that kind of information out. I don't mind doing it. God told me to do it. But the point is, you know, it's just, it helps the deceit. Like, people have a hard time hearing the word. Like, how much of the word I heard after 13 years and speaking in tongues and being in ministry, the the next 15 and 30 years were unbelievable when my bowel was clean. That's a story, people. That's a testimony. I don't care what anybody says. That is from my mouth to God's. That's real. And accept that just as you would if somebody had to be um, uh, life flighted to a hospital and there was a beautiful miracle. Why can't this be a miracle? What does there have to be blood and body parts falling all over the place? And no, this is a miracle. This cleaning your bowel and stuff and just living. So th- I just want people to know, just because and even if God does keep you out of the grave and he does a wonderful miracle, it does not mean that you don't have to do anything else for your life. Like, oh, I had a miracle. I'm good. Well, you got about 50 pounds you could take off too. And I'm not being mean. I mean, sometimes it's to get you looking in the right direction and loving yourself more and more and more. That comes in layers and levels too. Just like we go into deceit, we come out. Um, and that's, we're born dead and in sin, so we got to take that corruption out. This all is in alignment with the word. So I will say this: I had, I've had so many wonderful blessings and opportunities to work with people for long periods of time, like 3, 5, 10, 15 years, 20 years, the same person. Hundreds of colonics, a lifetime since the time they were 16. So this person was 16. It was a family member. Clean the whole bowel probably by the time early 20s. I have it all documented too, people. I have everything documented. So if you want to see it, I got all my appointment books and everything. And I don't feel like I have to uh, do that, but I'm just telling you, God told me to keep records. So I did. And the thing is, you know, having colonics at from 16 on, still went into a situation where they were full of tapeworms and nicotine because they chose to smoke cigarettes, which was totally out of something they wouldn't do. But I knew that meant their basic needs weren't met because I had done so much of my work and I know the cause and effect charts and neurological emotional technique and those practices I had done on myself with other practitioners. So I coded all that and I knew. So I'm like looking at this young family member going, well, that doesn't make any sense except that a basic need, first chakra need, is missing. And God told me, he told me exactly by revelation what that was. And So I took this person to the girl who does body alignment technique, and we love her, and she's done it for years. And I took all my kids, I took my husband, I went there, all my clients, I would send there. So I did not say anything. I knew what it was, cause and effect. I never say anything to the girl. Within 10 minutes, she's doing her work, and she goes, "Oh, no food in the womb." And this person looked like they had plenty of food. And they were just beautiful. And, when you're 16, you're beautiful no matter what. You're just a beautiful child. And I was like, wow. And I got it. So that's what the cigarettes were about. You see, because I was like, ah, why would this person be wanting to do that? I even made jokes to the person. So no more, because it was clear of the attachment, the emotional attachment to the memory was disconnected by this body alignment technique person. So there was no connection. It was disconnected. So um, the person dropped like 40 pounds and just had no interest in cigarettes. And see, that's the kind of healings that we get to see. And of course, they're cleaning their bowel too. And what came out of their bowel after that, now they had probably had, I know, a couple hundred, and I know we did 15 times the age, so they didn't need that much because they were so young. But we probably did 100 and a half of colonics before this work was done, because this wasn't done till the person was about um, 16, 18, 19. So they said, I want to be on the table every day for 30 days straight since it was summer. I said, okay. And they made that choice after that work was done, which meant that um, mental body work spurred on an action, just like it always was in the word. Take up your bed, go do that. It spurred on the action. I didn't even say anything. I just said, could I please have a colonic every day for 30 days? And I said, oh, yeah, sure. See, when people are young, they're not caught up in all this other stuff. It's so easy for them to receive the right information. I said, sure. So we did. What came out? Tapeworms, um, nicotine. Had seen nicotine come out of people so many times. Sometimes that was the only thing that came out is somebody who came in and said, I want all the nicotine out. 3 series of colonics nicotine, 3 weeks, 6 weeks straight. So I know what it looked like green army color green. And it came out, and this person was only like 18, 19 years old. So, and tapeworms all messed in there. That's why that person used to cover their food and didn't want you to eat it and get near it. See, that's the activity of the tapeworm and the characteristic of those worms inside. And this was a beautiful born again person that even knew how to speak in tongues at age 4. So this is why I'm telling you these things. Don't think you're way above it. So this is where the mental body invasion and the physical body come in. God didn't say just pray, 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 I'm going to fix it. No, we had to do our work. He gave us gift ministries. Colonics is one of them. Stewardship of the temple. I said, mental body, people that do mental body, and everybody I worked with that was not in the church, they were with God, because God said, I'll tell you how many times you go, while you're in having work with them, that's my altar. Don't worry. Don't do anything socially with them, though. That's what he told me. He said, and you'll know you're healed, and and that's exactly what happened. But I wasn't going to get that from the Christian community, because it needed to be a different type of gift ministry, and they were too close-minded, still are, by the way. And you can tell if somebody's teaching if they've had their mental body work, because their teaching will be more integrative, which is really pleasant, and thank you. And so that's, we got to take advantage of the gifts. So with all that being done, this person was, I have to say that, oh, and then when they were having their colonics, they started having respiratory coughing and stuff like that. And they said, well, I'm getting a cold. And I said, no, you're not getting a cold. We're in there breaking up those homes and condos that those tapeworms had living in with the nicotine. And it's all breaking up. And you have to cough. Coughing's good. And then she was releasing it down through her anus, which was really good. Upper GI, lower GI, that's what it's for. It's to get it out. And God made us that way, nothing to be ashamed of. And then she was fine, absolutely fine. And that would have been, in my opinion, those problems would have been with her from that point on through her whole life. It would have always been in the chest, a problem, and it probably would have been her cause of death at an older age. That's the kind of undoing you can do if you start young enough so you don't need to have the surgeries. So you don't need, it doesn't mean you might never need one, but not the way they do. Things are left go to chronic stewardship of the temple and um, hygienic practices of old should not have been taken out of our culture just because we got technology to add to it. They threw the baby out with the bathwater. We honestly screwed ourselves, okay? And that was because Adam handed over the kingdoms to Satan. And I'm sorry, one of the kingdoms is medical. I'm not saying all the people in there are bad and all that, not born again. There are wonderful people, thank God, or some of us would already be dead. I get that. But the system, Christians, the system is not working for the higher good. Okay? Would you just stop denying? We know the word. Know the word and work accordingly. Use it when you need to, but it's your body. Do the hygienic things when you need to. And that's just one of many things. I could sit for hours and tell stories and that are true. So anyway, that's what I wanted to share. I think I've really gotten everything off my chest that I was holding on for 2 weeks now. Thank you. I love you all. I appreciate you checking in. I hope you get healed. And may God bless your soul in your highest interest and allow him to teach you what to do. Thank you, Jesse.
Thank you, Lee.
God bless.